Hi guys, it's Aimee, your golf coach. In my iron practice vlog, I worked on two things: setting the club at the top and then powerful rotation on the way down. A lot of you guys asked about what exactly setting the club at the top meant, and also asked about the transition for the downswing, which I didn't talk about because that transition is right in between setting the club and the powerful rotation. So I will explain those two thoroughly today. Let's start with setting the club at the top first. So what is setting the club? It's the very last movement of the backswing. A lot of professionals, actually all of the professionals are doing this movement, except the amateurs are not getting this movement down. And when you're not setting the club, what happens is that you look rushed, and downswing sequence should be from bottom up, hips, shoulders, hands, and then the club in that sequence. But if you're not setting the club correctly, now your hands are rushing down. So your hands could be the first to move, or your hips might go, but then the hands will come down, so your shoulder turn gets omitted, and your downswing sequence gets all kind of mixed up, and you get lost. And then your hands are just slowing down, trying its best to not to whiff the ball or shank the ball. So you're losing a lot of distance and accuracy if your sequence is off and if you're not setting the club, right? A lot of the pros are excellent at this movement. Even Jon Rahm, who doesn't take a big backswing, he still sets it in this position, so he's ready to get that transition going and really turn powerfully into the golf ball. So it doesn't matter if you're parallel to the ground, 3/4 back, or you're half swing, you can still set the club in whichever position you're in, just matter of difference in the wrist angles. That's it. So setting the club is very important. If you are setting the club beautifully at the end of this lesson, you'll be doing these three things beautifully. Number one is hinging the club. If you don't hinge it correctly, you're not gonna get it in the setting position, right? If you hinge well, you're gonna have biggest chance of gaining a lot of club head speed, and also you have the biggest chance of making that club head move square throughout the whole swing. So both are going to help you hit the golf ball longer and straighter. We love that. Number two is the rhythm. You know how pros have that slight beautiful pause at the top and amazing beautiful hip turn on the way down. So you're gonna end up with a beautiful rhythm everyone's gonna compliment on. And then lastly, you're going to have a beautiful synchronization. I talk about sync between body motion and the hands. So when the body has turned and stopped, your hands should stop in sync with your body instead of right? So synchronization between your body motion and hands are very important. But if you get that set going at the top, then your sync is going to be on point. So the rhythm, the hinging, and the sync, those are three things in the top of amateurs list to master. A lot of them really think these three things are very difficult. A lot of amateurs are afraid to work on them because they're that difficult. But today I'm going to give you one Aimeefied drill to fix all of that and master your setting at the top. So what you need today is a serving tray. I really wanted those like big ones, the big round ones that have at big restaurants, but I didn't have one at home. So let's use an imagination. It's a big round one, and then a Sharpie. Okay, two things we need today. So let's talk about what exactly it looks like at the top when you set the club. So when you serve food, how do you hold your tray? Like so, right? The elbow's pointing downward and the palm is supporting the tray. If it's a big round one, your arm will be extended. We really like seeing the trail arm about 130 degrees at the top of the backswing. So let's pretend it's a big one. It's about to hit my face here. So boom, you're holding the tray. If you go ahead and take your golf setup, boom, oops. This is the angle you're gonna get into. So that 45 degrees matches the 45 degrees club face at the top, which means square at the top, okay? So that's what we want. I'm gonna show you a drill you can do with this. So when you set up to the golf ball and you open up your trail palm, the trail palm is facing the target, okay? Same thing with the tray, it's going to face the target. We're gonna do 3 moves. The very first movement, we're gonna take it straight back. So the tray is still facing the target. Back of my trail hand is gone straight back. A lot of amateurs tend to rotate straight off the bat. And if you do this, watch. If you do that now, boom, your club has gone under the plane, and from here your body is really supposed to start turning to coil correctly. If you turn in this position, now the club is way more inside, twice as much inside. Your body is super smart, you know that, guys. So when your hands have rotated, your body's like, if I turn here, I'm in big trouble. I will not be able to get to the golf ball on the way down. So you resist from turning. That messes up your whole coil now, okay? So a lot of amateurs tend to rotate their hands the wrong way in the beginning. So that's why we're emphasizing on taking that tray back straight as opposed to rotating. The straight back takeaway will help your body to start turning correctly, which will make you a fantastic coil. Professionals are very good at doing that. Instead of hands being all like working hard, it's all in their rotation, right? So first move is straight back just to the end of the mat. You see that, right? And then from here, you're gonna fold your trail hand about, wrist about 3 degrees. Now the tray is facing to the ground. Just make sure you're not folding your elbow. Just a lot of people tend to get those confused. I know there's a lot to think about, but it's the wrist. Your trail wrist breaks about 3 degrees, very small amount. And then from here, your lead back and lead shoulder is going to rotate to get into that position, and you're going to be supporting a serving tray. Okay, that's the set position we're trying to get to. So straight back, fold, and then turn. Now let me go ahead and explain this with a club in my hand. So, you know, I have a core dexterity that I talk about a lot. A lot of amateurs don't tend to use your core or your trail index finger enough compared to the pros. So when I, you know, emphasize on that, a lot of amateurs start making really kind of powerful and really tight, beautiful, consistent golf swings. That's why I emphasize on the core dex. I have all the series on the core dex on my website. If you want to check it out, you're welcome to. I'm bringing that up because today's lesson, it has a lot to do with the core dex theory. So I'm about to show you how the club is going to lie on your hands. This is my trail hand. Everybody's hands look different. I have like a thicker palm and my fingers are shorter than the palm. I don't think that's such a great combination. Embarrassing. But anyways, if you have thinner palm and like longer palm and the fingers, the placement might be slightly different. I just can't show you all the variations today. You're welcome to ask me separately or refer to my grip lesson. So I have marked at the end of this line here, I drew an X which is smudged right there, and then I also drew an X I teach that in my core dex. So that's where the two X's are. So we're gonna go ahead and match up the club face orientation to my palm. So we're gonna make sure it's facing the same direction. And about 3-4 o'clock, I'm gonna lay the club like this. Boom, did you see that? Boom, and then just grip it. And then when I get to the top, boom, like this, same orientation. X goes about 3 o'clock when I get to the top. Boom, it's same thing as supporting the serving tray, except when I'm in the golf position, now that club face is like perfectly 45 degrees, which is square, and I'm in this position 130 degrees. If you get to 90, that's okay, but any narrower than that, the arc becomes too narrow. It's going to affect your swing, your speed, and distance, directions. We don't want that. So 130 degrees is what we're shooting for, and you're resting it in that X in your trail index. How do we get there? Let's go ahead and set up trail hand only. Your club face is now the same orientation as your palm and the tray, so it goes straight back. I don't want to see any rotation in your hands. Straight back, and then from here you're gonna fold 3 degrees in your trail wrist, except your club face looks really shut. When your lead hand goes on there, that'll fix itself, so don't worry about that. We're exaggerating the hinge here. So it's straight back, fold, and then we're gonna turn the lead back and lead shoulder, boom, and then we're gonna feel the weight of the club head resting in my index finger. That's the setting the club part, okay? So we're gonna do that again. Straight back, fold, and turn. Now we're gonna link number 1 and 2 together. So it'll be straight back, fold, and then turn. Just make sure you don't go fold right away. You have to go straight back and then fold. So straight back and then fold, and then straight turn into the index. Now we're gonna do exact same thing with both hands on the club. Now the left hand is on there, but golfers are very imaginative, so we're gonna pretend like even though both hands are holding the club, only trail hand is holding, and we're gonna do the 3 things again. Connect 1 and 2 together, and then turn. You notice how when you go straight back and then fold, since that left hand, the one on left lead palm is pressing down on 12 o'clock. Now it's not bowing, right? But if you ignore the left hand, just go fold 3 degrees, you might bow the left lead wrist. We don't want to bow the lead wrist because it could lead to injuries. It could lead to shut club face. We don't want any of that. So make sure you're maintaining your grip. You can refer to my grip lesson if you have to. So one on left palm is pressing down on 12 o'clock, and then it goes right hand goes straight back, fold, and then your lead side turns, and then you feel the weight resting in your index finger. When the lead hand goes on the grip, you have to do 2 things. Pay attention to the second movement. The lead wrist doesn't bow. It stays cupped just like how it was in the beginning. Boom. After your 3-degree fold, it's still cupped, right? And then after you complete the turn, you must feel the weight of the club head in your index finger. If you have too much pressure in your lead fingers or in your trail thumb, then you're not gonna feel the club in your index finger at all. All you have to do is get to the top and then find that pressure, relax all the rest of the fingers, and really feel that weight in the index finger. At first, it might take a while. You might be hitting the ball and be like, wait, it's not there. Oh, yes, I feel the weight. It might take a while, like 3 seconds or something, but eventually that'll shorten to the point where you can just go boom, get it in the index, and then boom, downswing into the golf ball. So when you're doing a new movement, it's going to feel awkward and uncomfortable. The best thing you can do is not worry about how you hit the ball, where the ball goes. So you can tee up the golf ball. So the top of the tee comes to like first or second groove of your 7-iron. So that way you can make good contact even with like poor rhythm. So don't worry about how the ball goes, and then really focus on the 2 things. The lead wrist doesn't bow. Feel the weight at the top of the backswing in your index finger. So it'll go something like this. If you connect all 3, straight back, fold, and turn index finger, if you connect them all, it'll look like this. So that wasn't like rested at the top very well. Sometimes when I have bad days where I'm rushing, then I do tend to not complete the set and yank down. That's when I hit it like short, fat, and like sideways. I sometimes, make OB shots because of that. I'm a pro and still it happens. So I have my own way of getting it up there in the index finger. So when you're hitting, pretend like I'm standing right next to you. So you're almost like showing me on every shot that you got it in the index before you make the downswing. Don't worry how long it takes in the beginning. So it goes, oh, Aimee, okay, now I feel it. Right? Really concentrate on the pressure on your index finger, especially at the top of the backswing. If you can maintain it throughout the whole swing, even better. And eventually it'll take you like no time at the top to get that index going. Ooh. If you get that set going at the top, you feel that compression and you really hit it dead square on your sweet spot. So please work on that so we can move on to the transition next time. So you guys probably now understand how important setting the club at the top actually means. It gives you great rhythm, it really masters your hinging, and also it gets your synchronization beautifully. Okay, those 3 things are most difficult things amateurs face, but I Aimeefied it for you guys. So I'm hoping to see that beautiful setting at the top with all of you out there. So please work on it. That setting the club at the top is crucial movement in order for us to move on to the next transition. So get that into your body, get it programmed. So in the next one, I will discuss about what the transition is and how to get it going beautifully. So look forward to that. If you have any questions, comment down below. Fantastic job today. Thank you so much for golfing with me, and see you in the next one. Mwah.